Shabbat Shalom. People many times are wondering, and I don't know exactly how many people, what do rabbis read? Or many times people say, Rabbi, I would like to give you a book, but I bet you have hundreds of books to read by your night table. So what is on the rabbi's night table? What are the books that he reads or that I read before I go to sleep? So actually, I like to read mysteries. I don't know if some of you know that I enjoy mysteries. So when I need to read for fun, I read mystery books, especially English mysteries. And right now I'm reading some Argentinian mysteries and Argentinian literature, which I rediscovered. But I would like to just to share with you two books that I read lately that are somehow related to my rabbinical vocation. And I would like also to recommend you these books. The first one is God and the Big Bang by Daniel Matt. And this is a book that came to my desk, I would say more, as a coincidence. The title would not have called my attention specifically, but what it called my attention was the fact that it was written by Daniel Matt, which I will tell you in a minute who he is. And the book is a fascinating book. It's a little challenging for me for where I'm standing in some areas of halachic observance and the way I look, my spiritual life, and yet it made me feel, I will say, uncomfortable or challenged in the right way, because Daniel Matt brings a novel idea of what is God or how to understand God and the divine, and also some implications from his point of view on what do we do with this idea, where do we take it from here, how does this idea affect our way of looking at a Jewish practice, for example, at prayer, at halacha. Really is a wonderful book, but what made me read it is the fact that Daniel Matt is considered these days one of the most important authorities in the world in Jewish mysticism, and he is translated and editing the new edition of the Zohar, the Book of Splendor, the main work in Jewish mysticism. And I say, if Daniel Matt, who is working on the Zohar and Jewish mysticism and is recognized by everybody else in the Jewish world, and as I say, one of the most important authorities in the subject, has something to say about God and the Big Bang, let me be surprised. And I read it and I could not put this book away until I finish it. It's a fascinating book, and especially if you are struggling with these ideas of God, the God that you were taught about when you were in religious school or in synagogue, maybe this book is going to be especially appealing to you. It's by Jewish Lights, and let me know what you think about it. I recommended it to a few people in the shul. Everybody was positively surprised, and maybe we can discuss it together during Kiddush. This is the main book I would like to recommend today. The second book, and I'm going to speak briefly about it, is The Spirituality of Welcoming, How to Transform Your Congregation into a Sacred Community, by Dr. Ron Wolfson. It's also by Jewish Lights. And Dr. Wolfson analyzes what does it mean to be welcoming. And what is interesting about his approach is that he explains that being welcoming as a congregation is not something that you do, it's not an activity. is not a face you put, let me now be welcoming to people so people will join my shul. It has to do with an attitude, with a way to think yourself and to think the place you are, and how you can live welcoming, how can you embody welcoming, how can you be a welcoming person to begin, and then or a welcoming leader, and then take this trend to every area in your life, to your family, to the office, to the synagogue, to the sanctuary, to the physical building where you conduct the activities of your congregation. And it is a practical book, but I think it has a lot of insights. It is also written with a good sense of humor, and I think you will reflect many of the practices that, some I would say good practices and some challenging practices that maybe we all grew up with, and some things that we may need to change or start working on them. So for this session, again, I would like to recommend you these two books. Let me know what you think about, and hopefully in the future I will be able to recommend you new books. Many blessings.